It's a pleasure to meet you all. This is Walid Al-Hamdan from CX SnaX. I have a great guest with me, a new friend internationally that I really, as they say, admire the region that he's from, which is South America. And he's from Bolivia, an amazing CX guy who really works in tech and in fintech areas from a CX perspective. He has written some articles. He's writing a book about agility and the methodology that he uses in CX, which we are going to discuss in depth today. My friend Mauricio Dulon is here with me today, and so happy to have you on my podcast. How are you, Mauricio? How is everything with you?
Thank you, Walid. Thank you. It's a pleasure to being with you, my friend. And I follow you a lot on LinkedIn, your posts. You're a great CX leader. So for me, it's an honor to be with you on your podcast.
Thank you very much, my friend. Okay, let me take an example of agility. What happened in COVID? If I say what happened here, especially in Saudi, everything was, as you're aware, everything went to stop, and everything went on hold. People need to live with the restrictions that are happening. So the only solution and the support that anybody can live needed technology. So we were, let's say, in the journey of technology here in Saudi. Let's say we just, and from a government perspective, not just the private, let's say from 20 to 30% as per the goals that everyone has. Yani each company or organization or government. In a glimpse of, let's say, 3 months, everyone had improved from 30% to not less than maybe 80 to 90% of all interactions to be through either your mobile, your laptop, from a technology perspective. App, which was the name Tawakkalna. Tawakkalna had everything for you. You could take appointment for hospitals. If you need an emergency, they could come to home and do everything for you. And an app from Ministry of Health at the same time. The name is Sahati. Sahati, it means, as they say, work and see, even from a sport perspective. They could follow how is your health from, are you in a good health? Are you overweight? So they wanted to stabilize and let everyone feel that it's safe. Don't worry, we are with you 24/7. Especially the government was working on ensuring that everyone was on the level that to trust, and don't worry that we are beside you in a fingertip. Just press this number and we will be there. And a lot of people had that chance because there could be emergencies and all of that. So,
right.
From your perspective, what is agility in customer experience?
Well, let me start saying that when I started my consulting career about 12 years ago, I started helping companies on digital transformation. So the purpose was to find technology, innovation, like you just mentioned, that they could use to improve the service that they have with their customers, to improve whatever they do with their customers. And what I noticed back then is that most companies, I work especially in the banking industry and the insurance industry. I do consultant work with them. Most of these type of companies were acquiring technology just because it was new, just because it was innovative. Okay. For instance, in 2017, everybody was talking about chatbots. I don't know if you remember, but back then chatbots were like the big thing. You know, like today's AI is the big thing. So everybody it was using that. However, when we implemented that in the financial institutions, in the banks, for instance, some of the customers in some banks did not want to use it because they didn't have access to internet in wherever they lived, etc. So I realized that we were implementing technology just for the sake of implementing something new, and we were not really looking into what the customer wanted. Okay, so what I did in that instance is I started working on customer experience, which is the area that you and I love, and decided that it is best to first do a CX diagnosis to find out what the customer needs, and after you find out what the customer needs, then you can apply technology, you can look for technology, you can look for innovation in order to to in order for that need to be solved. Okay, but then there comes another problem, Walid. Most companies, especially big ones, were used to doing projects, implementing these type of projects in a more traditional type of way, which is, I plan the project, I start, I develop, I test it, and I get it out, right? And that traditional type of project, which some people call it the waterfall projects, did not really work well with innovative projects. Why? Because when you're innovating, what you need really fast feedback. You need to get something out, and you need your customers to let you know, oh, this is working or this is not working. And then you need to go back to the drawing board, and then you need to do some adjustments and take it out again, right? And release it again. So that's when I realized we need to use agility. Now, it is important. I understand that the waterfall projects, you can use waterfall for some projects. Like if you're trying to, I don't know, if you're trying to modify your core, your banking core, then of course you need to use that, But if you're doing some innovation, if you're with innovative projects, then you could use agility. You could implement these projects in an agile way. And that worked out pretty well, Walid, because I was using customer experience in order to find out what customers needed. Once I did that, I used innovation to find out what innovation can we use to apply to that customer need, and then we used agility in order to implement those projects in a quick way. And I'll finish with this. The most important part of agility, in my opinion, Walid, is that you can get feedback really fast. You don't have to wait until the end of the project to get feedback from your customer and find out that is not what the customer really wants. You can start getting feedback as soon as 2, 4, 6 weeks from what your project started. So that's how I started using agility in CX.
Amazing, amazing. So now, if we can discuss that there are three main pillars, as you have highlighted, which is CX, innovation, and agile implementation. So CX, it means that you need to understand the customer need from a customer experience perspective. Then you innovate what solutions that will make it for this customer simpler and easier to basically interact, use your services, how support it's done, all of the journey that any customer has with any organization, either it was government or non-government, or a banking, especially a banking institute, or a fintech platform, needs to have that the innovation comes from the customer, which is great. Now, let's take agile implementation. It's a very crucial step. So what I understand, a lot of problems happen here, a lot of issues happen here, and a lot of faults due to people who are in high speed trying to implement to reach their goals, either because they want to achieve a target, or they want to achieve as they say a market expansion. And I will give you a story just to help us understand. If you are aware of, there is a big mail department out of in Europe. They have implemented a chatbot with an AI. So this chatbot is, as they say, is a smart chatbot that is amazingly can understand and help the customer. So their target was, what I assume, as they say, from a viewer from far, that they wanted to fix a lot of customer issues, minimize the interactions, make it more automative, and minimize the headcount and all of that in one shot. Unfortunately, when they launched it, the chatbot, the AI chatbot, started to harass the clients and started to curse them, and even started to give recommendations to companies or people to don't use this company. It's a bad company. So I was shocked. And this is in the news. And I was shocked. So how can a company, and a big company like this in Europe, fall and doesn't think that, look, you're shooting yourself on the foot. You're putting yourself in front of everybody. Now I'm in here in Saudi and I heard about them. What about the people who are in the same country? So what do you think was the problem here? How can, if an example, a company would like, or a bank would like to implement something in the same scenario, what do you see that are the best methods or steps to be had?
Yeah, thanks for the question. And that's why I developed this framework. It's not a methodology, it's a framework. It's a way of solving a problem. And that framework, I call it the triangle, the virtuous triangle of digital transformation. Okay. And let me give you an example. Why I would have done if I were them. First, I would have found out if customers really needed that chatbot with AI. I would have asked them, I would have done a CX diagnosis. That's the first part of the triangle, CX, and find out what is really the pain. What are the pain points in that customer journey? And once I find out those pain points of what the customer needs, then I go back and take a look at technology. In this case, they looked at AI. They said AI is probably the what we need to solve this customer's needs. And they decided to implement AI in that chatbot. Okay. So that is the second part of the triangle, innovation. They decided to use AI as an innovation and chatbot to help on this customer's need. Now comes the third part, which is agility, which that's where I would have done things differently. Because when you implement CX with agility, what you need to do is you need to first go, you don't need to go on a big bang. Okay, that is the first thing. Okay, you cannot just release something to everybody and then find out that it's not working, that the chatbot is cursing at you and that it's not recommending your company. What I would have done in their case is maybe try a minimum viable product, an MVP of this solution, with some a small sample of customers. Okay, maybe try it in one town, maybe try it with customers from one branch, and then do a test, like a beta test, in which I release this, but in a controlled environment. Okay, and what you want to do in that part, and what is really important, I mentioned it previously, is that you get feedback. They probably, if they would have tried this, they would have gotten that feedback. Hey, you're chatbot is cursing at me, and it's actually not recommending your company to me. It's telling me to go away. So then instead of them having this big thing going into the news because it was a flop, they could have done it in a controlled environment, get that feedback, and then do the adjustments, because it doesn't mean that the technology is bad. It's just that they need to do some adjustments, do those adjustments, and then go back to the drawing board, do the adjustments, then release it again, probably with a bigger sample. Maybe we could use, instead of one branch this time, we can use 2 branches and test it out and find out what customers really need. That is one of the important parts of agility, Walid, that you should start with a minimum viable product. Don't go with a big bang. Don't release the solution to everybody in the whole country so everybody knows about it. No, go step by step. Go step by step. I compare it like building a building. If you want to build a building of 5 floors, start with the first floor, have people living on the first floor, telling you what they need. Okay, this bathroom is too small. The kitchen is big. Maybe I need a little bit smaller kitchen. I need more light. And then when you build the second floor, you build that second floor with more light, bigger bathroom, smaller kitchen, and then until when you get to the 5th floor, then you have a building that the customers really need, and that's how I would really use agility in customer experience. Use it as a way of testing your ideas, testing the solutions that you have for your customers, and don't go on a big bang. Go step by step. Start with a minimum viable product and go from them. That's how I would use this framework in that case.
Perfectly described from your side, that how digital departments need to handle transformation from that level. So from my understanding, that you are really, as they say, giving an important idea that time and managing the time is crucial in agility. So from my understanding, one of the as they say, the main successors for a plan, an agile plan to succeed, is having a correct journey, in parallel to it, a correct project plan. Am I correct in that, describing what I understand from your side?
Yes. In that part, in that sense, yes. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. Go ahead. No, I'm with you. Please.
No, what I'm saying in that sense, like what you said is right. You need to, from the project management point of view, you need to look at it as it's very important. I don't know if I use this word, iteration. You need to iterate. You need to plan, develop it, release it. That's the first iteration. Then you iterate again. Then you get feedback, go to the drawing board, do some adjustments, release it again, get feedback again, and then you do it one more time, And the more you do it, Walid, that gap in between iterations will be bigger. Like the first time you do an iteration, maybe you will release it, you will get feedback, you will go to the drawing board, you will release it again in 2 weeks, okay? Then once you test it on the second iteration, you will maybe test it for, instead of 2 weeks, test it for 4 weeks. It will be a longer time in between. You get more feedback because your product is more mature. You've already fixed some things and your product is more mature. So you can give customers more time to adjust and find some suggestions or problems with the product. So as you do more iterations, you can have more time in between. And as the product that you are implementing is more mature, it doesn't mean that you stop doing iterations. You should always do iterations and keep getting feedback from customers. You should never stop. However, what changes from a brand new product to a very mature product is that the time in between iterations. Because if it's a very mature product, maybe you release it and for 6 months you get feedback And after 6 months, then you do some adjustments. But you should always keep doing adjustments by ways of listening to the customers. Very important to listen to the customers in agility. But at first you're going to start doing it really fast, but then the iterations are going to be slower, and they're going to have more time in between. So that's how I would suggest to apply agility with digital transformation projects and with CX projects.
Perfect. Yani, you remind me of I was approached by a friend, and surprisingly, he said, "Well, I need your thoughts about we're doing a survey," and he wanted my thoughts about the survey. And I saw immediately when I saw the organization which is doing a survey. Unfortunately, this organization, I think so. This is, from what I'm aware of, maybe the first time in their life or the second time in their life they do a survey to understand, are the customers happy of what they have developed or not. So I looked at him and I told him, look, yani, I don't want to yani, disappoint you, but I don't think so any question from the question, because I was reading the questions, from my perspective as a consumer, I will answer a good answer, because all of what they have done for the past 40 years were as per their strategy, not our needs. This is something, and I'm talking about something, one of the big organization here in Saudi. So he was looking at me and he said, really, you're saying that yani, all of the, I told him, look, maybe you had a vision, the company had a vision, or the organization had a vision, but it never asked me as a consumer, is this vision something that I need or not? This is the first time they will ask. So I was more than happy to share my thoughts, and I wrote it. And I told them, I really hope to hear back yani, from the survey that the level of satisfaction of, yani, my wish was that only. I told them, I just want to know that really, maybe I was asking for something too much. Maybe I was yani, I see this, I'm a perfectionist. I need something perfect. But it could be that I don't want to blame anybody. So yes, 100%, I go back to an important thing that you have said. Yani, a very important step. Yani, implement, listen, see the customer. Are you on the right track? Then go back. Listen and implement and innovate. And so the cycle continues until you reach, I think so, to a level that you say, okay, well, I have hit this target. We can move in a simpler and a easier way now. Then when you have other targets, I think so, innovation comes again and how you really worked. So the cycle and the framework that you are saying will never stop. It continues with you. It's as I say, it's in the blood of the company. It's in the genes of the organization. So how do you see the future of agile CX in the world these days now, with what's happening and improving around the world?
I think that agile CX is taking more and more importance, especially in our world, yours and I, where we talk about CX all the time. I think companies, they need to be very careful on, because probably it happens in Saudi. All of the companies are trying to listen to their customers. They are doing CX diagnosis. They're hiring people like you and me to find out what their customers need. And as soon as they found out what the customers need, they want to implement it right away. They want to do the whole thing, and we need to be careful with that. First of all, there are some projects that you can implement really quick. I would call those the quick wins. Maybe you've heard that term, the quick wins, because those are things that you can do really, really quick, and you can fix things really quick, and customers will have an impact immediately. If you want to implement CX agility, Walid, I would suggest to start with those quick wins. I would suggest to start applying agility on those quick wins. Some companies ask me, well, Mauricio, what is a quick win? Is it something that we can implement in 2 weeks, 2 months, 6 months, a year? And in my experience, if it's something that you see that you can implement in less than 8 weeks or 2 months, then I would consider that a quick win. And I would separate those CX initiatives that are quick wins, and I would apply agility on implementing those quick wins. Now here comes something very important, Walid. When you apply agility, one important part is to get the feedback, to listen to the customer as you iterate, correct? But the other part, Walid, is that you need to form uh, teams. I call it cells, agile cells. Okay, that need to be with people from from different departments within the company. For instance, let's go back to that example that you gave, that company in Europe that was implementing the chatbot. If I were to form a cell, an agile cell, to implement that innovation, that chatbot with AI, I would get people from IT. I would get at least 2 people from IT on my team. I would get people from the sales department because they know very well their customers. I would get people from the operations department. I would get people from the marketing department. And if I were a bank, I would get people from the risk department. Okay. And you form an agile cell. What is important about this cell, Walid, is that it has people from different areas, and that mix of knowledge, because they see the customer from a different point of view. Each one of them does. Technology, all they want is something new, something tech. People from sales, they want to sell. That's all they want. They don't care about technology. They want to sell. People from risk, they want to take care of the customer. They want to avoid hackers and all that stuff. So if you get all those people in a group, I call it a cell, then you can start working that quick win using a Scrum, for instance, and implement that solution in what they call in a Scrum sprints. Okay, and each sprint is about 2 weeks. So in each sprint, you need to release something, you need to test something, But that is another important thing to when you are doing this in CX agility. First of all, listen to the customer through iterations. Uh, Realize which ones are the quick wins and start with those. And once you identify those quick wins, uh, get out, conform a team for each quick win. Okay, and those teams need to be multi-area from the company. That way, you get different perspectives. If you do that, in my experience, Walid, you will get a better product. First of all, because you will get a lot of points of views. Second of all, your product will improve really quick because you are iterating and you are getting feedback constantly. And third of all, and most important, you will get to show people in your company and people and your customers that you are really improving customer experience. Because, and I will end with this. I don't know if it happened to you. Some companies do surveys and they ask you, "Hey, Walid, what would you suggest us we do?" And you write your response. You say, "Hey, I would suggest you do this." Companies never listen. They don't. The worst thing that they have is that they don't listen to the surveys. They don't make quick wins out of this, out of the results of the surveys. So the customers at the end, they don't see results. They're like, "I told Walid that I needed that, and he hasn't done anything with that in 2 months. So what's going on? Maybe he's not listening to me." So whenever you go and ask the customer for feedback again, the customer says, "No, don't worry about it. I don't want to give feedback because you don't really listen to me. So why should I do it? Why should I waste my time?" But if you start with CX agility, you start showing the customer, "Hey, at least with this small thing, we're listening to you. We just did it." The customer will say, "Oh, well, that's great. That's a small thing, and they did it. I'm happy." So next time you come and ask for feedback, they'll give you even more feedback because they'll say, "Hey, at least you're working with that." So I would say those are the principles of CX agility that I would use, Walid, and that's why I think it's very important, especially in our area in CX.
Great. I think so. One of the crucial, important main sources of success in agile implementation and from the beginning is that the team that you have, which is the employee itself. So I think so choosing the right team which unfortunately a lot of organization miss that, appreciate what their teams can do, even if it was so simple. I see organizations that they have people who are, I know that they are not that level of, as they say, even of education, or even of understanding of the vision or the strategy or how they can implement it, but they have that passion to really support their company that makes a huge difference that you cannot buy it in the market. And no one can do that. So I always say when I honestly sometimes even get an opportunity to work with an organization, I see the team. If the team is a winning team, I will go ahead and implement and do my best. If the team is frustrated, disappointed, not happy, then I will lose, because customer experience needs a team to prove that you are succeeding. Without that team, you will never do. Some of projects that I think so that, which I would love to hear from you as a sample or an experience, and of your experience, what you have implemented. What I do is build, operate, and transfer. From when we take the project, we build and even recruit the team, then operate it, ensure everything is in line, then we transfer it and give it to the organization. This ensures that customer experience is implemented correctly, especially after you do a good assessment that have. So from your success stories, can you give me an example of what you have done, and especially in agility implementation, and with if in a fintech company or in a bank, that will be.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the question. Well, I'll give you an example in the financial industry, which is the industry that I work the most. There was a bank that wanted to do a digital wallet. They wanted to develop a digital wallet. So digital wallets, as you know, in your country, all over the world, in my country, they're the thing now. Everybody wants to have a digital wallet. They want the digital wallet to be super apps, to do everything. So when this bank started, they came back with the project, and they said, we want to do this. We want to have a digital wallet like Nubank has, or like Walla has. Those are big neobanks here in Latin America. And I told them, well, that's a good idea. It's good to have a vision of what you want. You want to be like Nubank or Walla, and that is really cool. However, what do your customers want? So what I did, Walid, in that case, we started doing some customer focus groups. We started interviewing customers, former customers, current customers, recent customers, and asked them, hey, well, if we were to have an app, what would you want to have there? And in the end, at the beginning, the app that they wanted to have had like 30 functionalities, 30 things that they wanted the app to do. Okay. But after we asked the customers, we realized that what the customers really want is to do transfers, to transfer money from one wallet to another, okay? To be able to pay utilities, services, whatever from the app. Those were the two most important things. So what I asked them to do is, why don't we develop the app first, this super app, first with only 5 functionalities, only 5, no, not 30, but 5. And they told me, but that's gonna make our app look like not very complete. It's not gonna be with all the functionalities. And I said, let's give it a try. So we did that. We developed the wallet with only five functionalities. We released it to the customers. And the customers gave us feedback. They gave us a lot of feedback. First of all, they were very happy with the 5 functionalities that we had. transferring money, paying utilities, paying whatever you want to pay with the app. But then the customers came back and say, "Hey, I would love to be able to do something else with this app." And they gave us a bunch of other functionalities that they wanted from the app. So we took that feedback, we analyzed that wish list from the customers. Okay, we, like I said before, we identify which ones we could do really, really, really quick, and we identified 3 more functionalities that were in our thinking they were quick wins. So we went back to the development team, and they did those adjustments. They added those 3 functionalities, and then we released the app with 8 functionalities. Okay, and customers loved it because they were like, okay, you listen to me, great, I want this. And then the customers started being more, I guess, more mature because they were using the app a lot, and they said, hey, we want this too. What can we have a saving account here where I can make some interest on my money? And we were like, okay, that was not the purpose of the super app at first, but yeah, we can give it a try. So you see, and one important thing of this, Walid, is that when we formed the teams, and I go back to your question about the teams, the team that was listening to all this feedback and was deciding which functionalities to go on with was a multi-area team. This wasn't a project from the CX team only. This wasn't a project from the IT team only. It was a project from a team with about 10 people from different areas. And that's what I like the most, because everybody looked at it from their point of view, and we had a very, very good feedback from the whole team. And that's another thing that is important from CX agility, Walid, that when you do it in a team, it's not the responsibility of CX only or digital transformation only or IT only. Because when that happens, the whole company says, oh, that's Mauricio's project, or that is Walid's project. They're working on that. It's not my project. But whenever you have people from a bunch of teams in your team, it's the company's project, it's the team's project. It's not Walid's project, or it's not Mauricio's project. You know what I mean? So that way, when you have a team, you get more backing from the company. You get different areas to say, hey, Mauricio from our team is in that team. We should help them out, Or people will say, oh, Walid is in that team and he's from our area. We should back Walid on this. So you get more backing, and you get more buy-in from the rest of the company when you work on agile teams.
Sure. Thank you very much. I really appreciated giving me the time, giving me the opportunity to discuss with you an important, truly discussion or trend that's happening around the world. And I hope that from everyone who would like to get in touch with Mauricio and understand more about the framework that he's implementing, I'm sure he's more than happy to support. He's more than happy to give lectures, speakers, because he's already a speaker, a great speaker in that field. So please feel free. I will leave his information above here, and everything will be mentioned, so you could get in touch with him. From my side, it was really a great opportunity as usual. This will not be the last. It will be the one of the many coming, as they say, podcast with you. And I hope that you bear with me and give me again an opportunity to discuss some more, because I really would like to hear what's now, maybe next time when we meet, what's happening in South America from CX. And I would love to hear more about that. I know from my friends what's happening in the US, what's happening in Canada, what's happening in Europe. But from my side, honestly, until now, I don't know what's happening in South America. We could make it a discussion, me and you, how and what are the challenges that happening in South America in the CX field. how can that improve, and it will be my pleasure. Again, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Walid, and thank you. I really admire you and all the content that you put on the on LinkedIn, especially. I admire your CX knowledge. For me, it's truly an honor to be on your podcast, Walid. And like you said, I hope we continue this conversation as we both progress on our CX journey and get to know more about your part of the world and you know more about my part of the world. Thank you so much, Walid. It's been really a pleasure and an honor to be on your podcast.
Thank you, my friend. It's the honor is mutual. It's mine for sure. Thank you everyone for attending. This was Walid Al Hamdan from CX SnaX. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you.